Hey everyone, welcome to my studio. This week I'm going to finish up St. Matthew. I just have a little bit of wing and some sky, and I've actually already cut some wing pieces, so I need to mix up some thinset and get started on that. And then once that one is finished, I have to prep two more. I need to get them cut and mounted on the board with the mesh and get them all set up. And over here, I really want to finish this. There's just a little bit left, so I think I can do it this week. And then I'll wait a day and maybe even get to grouting it. That's it. I also have a new studio buddy this week. This is Seymour, and he likes to hang out with me. He's way across the room from me, though. We're dog sitting him. I've got my thinset in this baggie. It's just finished slaking. I'm going to nip off the corner and get started here. Cutting these little skinny pieces that I outlined with. I've been cutting them by hand. So I make a strip that's fairly thin with my scoring tool and running pliers, and then I take my nippers and I will cut it in half. If it's a little bit fat, this one's perfect. If it's a little bit fat like that, sometimes that's good. Then I can create a bit of a curve for going around something like the knob up on the top there. To work on finishing the orange petals first, and then I will work on the yellow ones, which are going to likely fade to orange at the very tip. finished St. Matthew and St. Mark. I have St. Luke and St. John to work on. And so I only had 2 boards. So I went to the hardware store and I bought 2 pieces of plywood. This is a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of plywood. But when I brought it home, I decided it was too warped. Look at this. Like it won't even sit flat on my workbench. It just bowed too much. The first 2 were mounted on MDF. And what I've done is take them off the MDF and I put them just to store on the plywood since it's bowed and it doesn't matter because these are finished. And then that way when I make the next 2, I can use the MDF because it's much more flat to make them, because I don't want to make them and have them bowed in some way. They're going on a flat wall. That's where I will be storing them. They need to be stored flat because they are separate pieces. And if I put them vertically, they're just going to fall off because they're not attached to the board at all. So I have to store them flat, and I'm going to stack them, but I'm going to put some paper and some bubble wrap in between the layers. Here's the design for the next mosaic, St. Luke. When I blew this up, I realized for some reason the lettering was bigger than the other 2. So I cut this out and I made one that's the right size. And I don't want that to be too distracting. So I have a piece of paper I'm going to slip behind there. And then I think I am going to have it come out just a little bit further than I cut these ends off because I thought it was a little bit too short once I reduce down the size of the letters. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer so that it comes out and isn't a weird overlap between the edge of the body and the edge of the scroll. Like I don't want it to be right on top like this one was. So I'm going to center it and lengthen it just a little bit and then draw it in there. And then so that it's not distracting to me, I'm going to draw the rest of the feathers and all that business on this piece of paper that's behind there. Then I can cover it with shelf paper and mesh and have it all prepped and ready to go. That's it. Prepped St. John as well, and I made an executive decision and made his head just a little bit bigger because it's so much smaller than the other ones, just to fill up that halo a little bit more. They all have the same size halo, but you can see he's got different wings, so it's going to be a lot more blue. The sky is going to show a lot more on St. John. That's it. Hey, buddy. Come on. I bought this itty bitty frame and I have made a backdrop because I'm going to make a little vase with flowers and just stick it right on top. So this part I want to grout, and I made this yesterday, so I'm going to grout it right now. I'm going to use linen colored grout that I've already mixed up. Grouted, this becomes my substrate, and what I have done is I have created a little mosaic with stained glass and this one piece of ceramic to put on this base. So I'm going to transfer it. And I actually have some of the original glass because I'm betting I won't be able to transfer this so precisely as I've made it. The pieces are just way too tiny. In any case, I'm going to be using E6000 for jewelry and beads. And the only thing different about it is it has a special nozzle that you can use so you can get it just where you want it. Precision tips, they call it. So that's what I'll be using for these itsy bitsy little pieces. That's it. About to grout my sunflower. So this time I've taped off the beads and I want to grout up to the beads, but I don't want any grout to get in the bead area. So I just tape them off to protect them. And I have mixed up some white thinset with yellow colorant, and it is Colorant Brand cement colorant. And then I mixed some up with, I think this is the terracotta. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this one or not, maybe a little bit. I'm not sure. I really like this, and I think I like this for the whole thing. So I'm going to start with this for sure. Right now it's slaking, so as soon as it's done, I'll get started. Start with the eyes, and I want to show my reference photo. This is my original reference photo that I submitted and was approved. And then this is the one that printed out. You can see that the colors are much, much darker here. So while I'm using another copy of this underneath the mesh, I'm going with those colors, which are a little bit lighter. That's it. And looking closely at these eyes, you can see that they're yellow. And I have pulled some yellow, but also some tan, brown, and black for the iris. So here we go. Also, they are a little bit uneven. I'm probably gonna make them a little bit more round like this one. You know, I just hand drew this and it's a little bit asymmetrical. I like that. I did that with the wings too. It just makes them look less stylized and a little bit more realistic, even though they're pretty stylized. That's it. was able to finish up St. Matthew, and I was able to finish this little beauty and this big one. I just need to put the hanging hardware on the back of this one. And I'm off to a really good start on this one, St. Luke. That's putting it together. Thanks for watching. See you next time.